Hello again, YouTube. Geeky Dad here again with a new toy to look at, and it's the Pixel Watch. This has landed in my hands only a few days ago, and I've been very excited to see it. I didn't actually think I was going to buy this one. I've had other smartwatch, which I'll get into a minute, which has been serving me well, but I had some vouchers, and I thought I'd take the plunge and pick up a good buy. So firstly, I'll give you this. This is not going to be an unboxing and going through all the features. It'll be just, I guess, to talk about the elephant in the room, and that's battery life and my experience of it, and also about the setup issues that I've had, and maybe some tips and tricks, or one tip and trick about a setting that I found today that I had issues where I couldn't actually hear my notifications on my phone. Well, let's get to it. So firstly, I'll talk about the setup issues. I actually had to restart and try and pair this thing about 4 times. Don't know why, but I kept on getting a prompt on my phone. My phone that I'm using is a Pixel 5, so it's not the latest, but it's still a Pixel and still supported and still getting a lot of updates for it. So I kept on getting this pair prompt, and it just kept on failing. So I had to restart the phone. Then that sort of allowed the setup process to go through a little bit further. Then restart the watch, and that then went a little bit further. Then just went through the factory reset options in here. Then there was a long time trying to update it. But that ended up working in the end, and I haven't had a hitch ever since then. But I thought I'd just like to share that there is some issues out of the box with the setup process, and I think the best thing to do is actually go through into the settings, and if you do have those issues, go into system and then look for the where is it now? Disconnect and reset option, and then try again. Also reinstalling the software that comes that you have to install for the Pixel Watch as well. But overall, I am happy with the watch. I don't regret the purchase. Other issues that people have been experiencing in regards to changing watch bands, but I've found that not too bad. There's a little button you push through here, and that slides off. To get it back on, you just need to put it over that button that once was, and then slide it back. So it is actually quick and easy to remove. I didn't have problems. I was lucky enough to just pick it up and just do it right away. But a lot of people on YouTube are actually complaining about how difficult it is to remove. But as I said, the trick is in that little indentation. That's a button. You have to overlap the band on there. Push it down. You don't need to push it with your finger. Push it down with the band and then slide it back on. Before we get into the battery life, I thought I'd talk about my experience with smartwatches, and also about my requirements of a smartwatch. Now, I've had a smartwatch since back in 2012 when I first heard about smartwatches in Australia. And that was a Sony smartwatch, the first model, which was a MN2S. It was very new to say, and very crap. It wasn't always a noise on display, and the tilt to wake up was terrible. You'd have to shake your hand, and when you're holding a box, let's say, it's very hard to see the time. And you see, long story short, knowing the time when you needed it was a very big effort. You can still control your media, so whatever audio you're listening to, get all your SMS messages. So that was great. It even had emails as well, which is something that I disable. I have disabled ever since with any other new smartwatch, because there's just so many emails these days. But it did its job for the time. But as soon as there was a great watch that had a round face, because round faces were always my preference, I jumped onto that. And the first one that I received, that I purchased, was the LG Watch R back in 2014. And that was my first watch with a Wear OS. And since then, every single watch that I've had has been an Android watch, and it always was typically a 1-day battery. So from the LG Watch R back in 2018, when the Fossil Gen 4 was available, I purchased that. And then a few years later, when the Gen 5 was available, I purchased that too. And they always were a bit over 1 day. So I'd just charge it 1 day, and then it'll be ready for me the next morning, which was great. And that was perfect for what I needed. Now, this may not be for you, but I'll let you know what I am as a typical user. As you know, as the name of the channel, Geeky Dad, I am a geek. I'm not big on exercise, and I just like my smartwatches for the fact that I can install an app, I can control some media. This is great for the smart home integration. I can talk to Google Assistant and control the 50 to 100 smart devices I have at home. If I mentioning that, the Fossil had could do that, but not with the Australian language. Unless I changed my phone to US English, for some reason I could not use the assistant to control my smart home equipment. I could only use it for things such as timers, getting the weather, and simple things like that. So I'm glad to say that for anyone in Australia, if you have this watch, this can actually do your smart assistant for any home automation that you might have. Now, going back to the battery, we don't, for myself, I don't need any of the sleep tracking. I have a hub, Google Hub, the one of the Nest ones, I should say, Nest Hub, by my bedside table, which can do that. I got into it for about 2 weeks, and then I stopped using it. And I think the reason why is that, you know what, I've had experience with sleep for 40 years, and I think I know that if I wake up and I feel pretty crap, it's because, I went to bed too late, or, drank too much water in the evening and wasn't comfortable, and so on and so forth. So I don't need the sleep tracking. I don't need something to tell me that, I didn't sleep too well because of X, Y, and Z. The next thing is the fitness stuff. I'm not much of a person to go out for a run. I do like a nice walk, but if I go for a walk, I don't need to know what my heart rate is. I don't need to know how many Ks I did. I just go out and I know that I did something good for myself regardless. So ever since I've had the Fossils back in the Gen 4 back in 2018, that's the first thing that I switch off. I played around with it for a little bit, and then I just switch it off. I hated getting all those notifications every day saying, oh, this is how many steps you've done, or hey, you need this many health points. I just found it too annoying. So saying that, with all that off, I can have my display always on and get the day's use of this no problem at all. If you are a user that enjoys life and doesn't need all the extra bells and whistles that such a platform does offer, this will do you fine. You'll be able to use it all day. Get all your weather or any other little apps that you might have. You might have some Spotify for music, this, that, and the other. And you're not going to have any issues putting it back in the charger when you sleep, and then in the morning it's ready for another day. Now here's a quick tip, an issue that I've only seen with the Pixel Watch. I've never seen it before with any previous Wear OS watches, is that whenever my Pixel Watch had Bluetooth connectivity to my phone notifications were muted. This is not something that I wanted to happen, and I'm not used to that happening either. And the way to disable that is you open up the Pixel Watch app and you click on notifications. Then in notifications, scroll down to under the general heading, you go to mute notifications, and then under the phone heading, there's this mute notifications option. This needs to be switched off. As soon as I found that then started working straight away for me. I don't know if I did this on by accident or if it was on by default. Yeah, it did really annoy me. It confused me, and I did miss a few messages throughout the day because I wasn't expecting that. So there you have it. Hopefully that helps someone else out there too. So I guess that's all from me. What's your experience if you've had smartwatches before? I know there's other ones that do last longer, and there's a lot of people out there that aren't like me, and I've got siblings that aren't like me, and they've got Garmin's and what have you, and they use all the sports features, and it lasts for days on end. There's other people that have the various models of the Galaxy watches that can last longer than a day and might use other features. But do you have the Pixel Watch, and how do you find the battery? Also, please keep in mind that if you are buying your first smartwatch, the first time that you have it, the first week, you'll be playing with it left, right, and center. Do not be alarmed that your battery may last for only half a day. There is a time where you'll get used to it and you'll start using it more like a watch and less as a brand new toy that's just come out of the box. So when you force yourself, like what I had to do for a whole day before I could review this properly for the battery life, is I went out, took it out of the box, played as much as I can, got it all out of my system. Then the next day, I said, I need to use this like I did with my Fossil Gen 5. And I played with it just a little bit. I couldn't do it at 100%, but I got a full day out of it, and I had no issues with it. And tells the time, tells the weather. I can set up an alarm. I use the voice assistant to control things at home, and it's been a treat. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Let me know how you've been using yours, how you've been using other smart watches. Am I the only one that just uses it for the bare essentials and all those extra bells and whistles? Is it just a marketing thing for you too? But yeah, that's it. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, hit that ding, and then yeah, we'll catch you with the next video. Bye.